Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Corey Solomon, and I am your host along with Scott Tyndall. Today, we are going to get into the pulse of Memphis through its music and cuisine. So we will get into the rhythm of Memphis. Let me introduce you to Milton Howery, the Director of Public Relations Public Relations for Memphis Tourism and an associate member of IFTWA. I'll let you take it from here, Milton.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm going to kick it off with a Memphis video, then I'll come back to you. All right. Go to the next screen here. Well, thank you all for having me. It is such a joy to be able to speak to writers in general. I've had some months with limited interaction with journalists, so I'm glad to for you guys the opportunity to talk about Memphis. I want to show that video. That video was obviously taken before the pandemic, and I just want you to see how vibrant and lively Memphis is as a destination. And a lot of those things that you saw in that video are still things that you can actually still do today. Just the concerts, not so much, and things of that nature. But the attractions and the food, and then and the music attractions and Bill Street and the outdoor activities, all those are still things that you can experience in Memphis, and all things that you can tell your readers to do when they come to visit Memphis. So to tell the Memphis story today, I brought with me three of my favorite individuals. And they're all women from Memphis. Number one up is Tanya Dyson. She's the executive director of the Memphis Slim House Collaboratory. And it has a purpose and a mission to educate, support, and inspire the Memphis music community to create a culturally vibrant city and spread Memphis music throughout the world. So I'm happy to have Tanya. And then after Tanya, she will be the first one up. And then after Tanya, we're going to have Christina McCarter. She is a longtime Memphis culture enthusiast and foodie in Memphis. She's the founder of City Tasting Tours. She's also was featured in New York Times and several other major publications recently for being able to quickly adapt to the pandemic, and she started offering virtual tours that included food, but also she just launched this week her tasting boxes and City of Memphis tasting boxes, and those are two of the things that you're gonna, those are the boxes that two individuals are gonna have the opportunity to win at the end of the webinar today. But also, in addition to that, we're going to mail everyone a Memphis gift. So don't feel pressured if you don't win something. Everyone's going to walk away with something that we're going to mail you. All right. And then, so what's a Memphis webinar without music, right? So then that's where we're going to bring in my favorite artist in Memphis, Miss Kia Johnson. She's won an Emmy for her original song, Moving On, that was featured in a PSA by the Memphis Music Foundation. She's even sung for presidents such as Bill Clinton. She was selected to attend and be a part of the legendary B.B. King All-Star Band that traveled the world on the Holland America Cruise Line, singing blues, rock and roll, jazz, and classic R&B and soul. She was also a contestant on American Idol, in The Voice, and Mary J. Blige has sung her praises. So I'm really glad to bring these three individuals with me to talk about Memphis. And right now, I'm going to kick it right over to Tanya to kick it off and tell you the story of Memphis music history. And we can't talk about it all today, but we're going to get in what we can. And then she's going to also talk about the Memphis Slim Collaboratory and exactly what that is as well.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Milton, for the introduction. Like he said, my name is Tanya Dyson. I'm the Executive Director of Memphis Slim Collaboratory. And I want to tell you briefly about a little bit of what Memphis Slim House does, because in talking about Memphis music history, of course, our purpose is to, of course, educate the artists by using the example of the blues musician Memphis Slim and his life to educate them on the future. So, of course, we kind of do a dual purpose of preservation, historic preservation, as well as laying the foundation of the future by using the history that we preserve to build future artists' careers. So that's Memphis Slim Collaboratory. One of our main programs, of course, is artist development. And so with artist development, a few things that we do, of course, is provide access to affordable access to rehearsal space, also small recording studio projects, workshops and seminars on various music industry projects, music member incentives as far as discounts with other music organizations, other businesses of the like. Also the loan program where we do loan up to $8,000 to artists for tour support, for recording support, merchandising, whatever they need to actually prepare them for the development, again, of their career. Also professional development by way of the Musicians Advisory Council. And then also artist exchange opportunities that we work with other organizations in different cities and countries to be able to do artist swaps and information swaps with artists to where they can basically build their network outside of the Memphis area. So the next area of our program, of course, is preservation. So the preservation, of course, we have the Memphis Slim Gallery. We have our digital archives. We offer the Soulsville Neighborhood Music Tours. Of course, if you've heard about Soulsville, I'm one of the bigger advocates of the neighborhood. It has such an amazing history, not just with music, but just all across the board. Soulsville itself is the pulse, I would say, of the global music soul sector, in a sense, where it provides the beat, it provides the pulse, it gave that gritty sound, and of course it is the home of the Memphis soul sound. And so next we have our education program. So of course with our education program, we have the Slim Scholars Music-Based Homeschool Program that actually launches in January of 2021. And then we also have our Cut Creators DJ Summer Camp as well. So we do try to provide mentorship opportunities as well, because we work with several musicians, but then we also have the youth in the neighborhood that are also interested in music. So our biggest thing is trying to be a safety net to catch a lot of the youth in the neighborhood that time out of the music programs in their high schools and before they go to college. And so the next and final program that I'll tell you about, of course, is community engagement. So of course, with community engagement, we use music in all aspects of music to engage the community. And what I mean by that, we program a lot of the music for the neighboring organizations, for so many organizations across the city, to make sure that our members who are Memphis musicians, actively working Memphis musicians, to where they have a place to actually perform and get paid suitably. And so we work with that. We help to build community engagement through the Soulsville USA Festival, Live from Melva's Backyard, which is a series that we produce, Live from Memphis Slim's House, which is a virtual series that we actually produce, as well as Soulin' on the River, a partnership with the Memphis River Parks Partnership on downtown, where we host live concerts on the river, as well as several other community and corporate partnerships and alliances. So I've told you a little bit about what we do at Memphis Slim House, but let me tell you a little bit about Memphis Slim and why his mission is so important towards what we do and why we really push and promote his life to our current musicians. During the time, of course, Memphis Slim was a blues musician that came up during the time of Jim Crow. Unlike so many other blues musicians, he had a lot of control of his music, totally opposite than a lot of people. He was literate. He could read, he could write, he could actively write music. He was very much in charge of his career and stayed at the forefront. Once he realized that the industry was shifting from the South, going up to the north, of course, with Chess Records and a few other record labels that moved up north towards, of course, Cincinnati and Chicago and different things like that. Of course, Memphis Slim moved from Memphis to Chicago. And once he realized, again, that there was a shift where a lot of the blues industry was somewhat exiting and making way for this new sound of rock and roll and soul and R&B music. And so he found a home in Paris, France, where he moved there and eventually, of course, became an expat of the United States, but did come back and forth. There he received one of the highest honors there in Paris, of course, called the Order of Letters, where he was there basically an ambassador of music, serving for the country as well as for the United States. So again, in our mission, we show that this Black man, during a time of Jim Crow era, just all kinds of oppression, managed to take a hold of his career and elevate himself and put himself where he needed to be. And we really focus on that, because if someone can do that in the late 50s, early 60s, with all of that built around them, so we really show his life and really push his life as an example of what can be done. And look at what he did back then with the very little resources that he had. And then look at technology and the access and the global economy that we now have, and using, again, the mission of his life to really show the artist that if he could do it, you can too. So that's a little bit about what we do at Memphis Slim House. So now I'm going to give you a quick crash course. Like Milton said, it's pretty impossible. It is not pretty impossible. It is impossible to brief you on Memphis music history within a certain amount of time. I would literally need days, maybe months, to actually brief you on the rich history. But I'm going to give you a quick crash course, and I'm going to use intersectionality as a way to kind of tell a story about Memphis music and how it's all connected. Of course, you hear about Stax Records and you hear about the intertwines of, racial diversity there, and Black with white working together to create music. But Memphis has a positive example of how that actually worked throughout the course of history. So I want to start with Nat D. Williams. So Nat Williams, of course, was an educator, a mentor, a teacher at Booker T. Washington High School, which is a high school that is located within the Soulsville area, that also was attended by Marty's White and so many other people in this area, and just that was a part of Memphis music. So he was a mentor himself. He went on to actually become a DJ at WDIA. WDIA did not begin as America's first African-American radio station, but that's how it ended up being. Of course, the owners of the station looked to diversify, to kind of expand, because they needed to make more money in the market. And so they created a 30-minute section for African-Americans that was led, of course, by Nat D. Williams. And from that, it became so popular that they expanded and turned the whole entire programming of WDIA into AA, or African-American programming, thus giving us Memphis, the very first Black radio station in the United States, in America. And of course, Nat D. Williams was the very first DJ. So of course, very first Black DJ right here in Memphis, Tennessee. But not only was he a DJ, he was also influential in the fact that he was a mentor, and he reached back to certain artists. So had it not been for Nat D. Williams, we would not have the likes of so many different people. And one of the main people I'm going to name in just one second. So this next person that I want to speak about is Sam Phillips. Sam Phillips created Sun Records in 1954, and of course his very first artist was a young star. Prior to that, he was doing minstrel shows, tent shows, different things like that. He also served as a DJ at WDIA and was a mentee of Nat D. Williams. And the artist that I'm referring to is Rufus Thomas. Rufus Thomas actually gave Sun Records its first big hit during that time. The song was called Bearcat. And of course, it was an answer to Big Mama Thornton's version of Hound Dog, which of course, that Elvis Presley, who later signed to Sun Records, ended up re-recording that song and making a big hit. And so again, seeing this connectivity going from Nat D. Williams with WDIA on to Sun Studios. So of course, we see that Rufus Thomas was the connector. So the next slide we should have is Rufus Thomas. So Rufus Thomas, of course, you know him as the eclectic, ever stylish, the phenomenal person that you see now, and of course the artist. A lot of people solely affiliate him with Stax Records, but again, Rufus Thomas was all about Memphis music. And so he served as a DJ as well at WDIA, and he's actually responsible for the careers in introducing people to the likes of Bobby Blue Bland, BB King, who was also a DJ at WDIA and got his name BB because his name was Bill Street Blues Boy King, Riley Bill Street Blues Boy King. We ended up shortening it, of course, because that's a long name to have to introduce yourself by every single time you get on the radio. So he shortened it to BB King, and that's how we know him now. Like I said, others like Johnny Ace, who was considered one of the first rock and roll stars that also stayed in the Soulsville neighborhood, that unfortunately met an untimely demise at a very young age before his career was taken off. But again, with the hand of Rufus Thomas, by way of Nat D. Williams, Rufus became this mentor. And not only did he use his celebrity, his local celebrity, to boost his own career, but he in turn reached back and boosted so many others, including Ike Turner, who eventually ended up working A&R with Sun Records and helped to develop the artists there, and so many others. So the next slide, please. So after leaving Sun Records and of course having that hit record, Sun Records ended up moving more towards rock and roll, rockabilly type of artists. And so at this point, Rufus Thomas was seeking another home. So right there in the Soulsville area on an address called 926 McLemore Avenue, what is now known as the Stax Museum of Soul Music. It was founded by Estelle Axton and Jim Stewart, brother and sister. Of course, the ST from Stax coming from the last name Stewart, and the AX coming from the last name of Axton, put together made Stax. They began their endeavor as Satellite Records that was originally there. And again, like so many other things that started in Memphis, it was more built for the rockabilly sound. And Rufus Thomas approached them, being that it was in the neighborhood, and approached them with an opportunity to cut not just a record on him, but also his daughter, Carla Thomas, who he introduced. So within that time, they signed Rufus Thomas. He became a prominent star, and they introduced others like the likes of Otis Redding, of course, Isaac Hayes, Carla Thomas, Mabel John, the Bark Hayes, the Staple Singers, and so many other artists through there. So again, this common thread of Rufus Thomas being involved from beginning to the end of that. And so this next slide, please. So right down the street, of course, from Stax Records was another label, was High Records or Royal Studios, run by a young musician during the time. He didn't actually run it. He started out as an artist and a producer on High Records, and then eventually turned in and came into the helm and took over the operations of High Records. Willie Mitchell, as a producer, was responsible for so many different projects, including O.V. Wright, Al Green, Ann Peebles, and so many others, as well as producing music as on his own for himself. I always say that hip hop today, as it's known, wouldn't be known if it wasn't for Memphis soul music. A lot of the foundational parts of hip hop would not exist because of that, because they sampled a lot of Willie Mitchell, a lot of Isaac Hayes, a lot of Al Jackson, who was an amazing drummer that played for both labels. And so we wouldn't see the foundations of hip hop as they lay without Memphis music, in a sense. So that is basically my crash course lesson in Memphis music. I know I tried to sum it up in 10 minutes, and I hope I did it justice in that. But again, thank you so much for you all, because you all keep the pulse going. You keep people like me in the press, and you keep all the information and the wonderful work that we do, and just this type of information and the wonderful history that we have. You keep it circulating and make sure that people know exactly what's going on and how we got to this point from that point. So again, thank you for listening to me. Again, my name is Tanya Dyson, and let me see. I saw a couple of questions. What is the name of the musician? Reset. Oh, Memphis Slim, aka his real name is Peter Chapman, but he went by Memphis Slim. And who is the last person on the screen? That is Willie Mitchell.
And I want to briefly give you guys an insider's tip here. Don't share it with the media yet, but it should be out in a week or so. There's actually going to, and Tanya, you might know this, Willie Mitchell is actually going to be featured on the exhibit next month at the Grammy Museum in Mississippi.
Yes. Yes.
And so I'm pretty sure you're the insider of Memphis. I just found out via email yesterday.
Yes. I fortunately have one of the his granddaughter, Ona Mitchell, who currently runs Royal Studios, is on our board of directors at Memphis Slim House. So it's like I'm privy to know a lot of the wonderful things that they do, and grateful for her work with us with Memphis Slim, because I love the fact that we have a legacy, a lot of the legacy involved in Memphis Slim House, and that's what really helps us build the history and helps us really be able to educate a lot of our musicians on the historic past that we have, because we have so many pieces to the past that are now involved in the current and in the future that are all playing a part in that.
Tanya, there's a question. They said, my question is Memphis Slim House open? What are you doing during COVID?
Yes, we are open. We're open to limited source. Of course, you know, every day I wake up and I'm watching the news reports, looking at the city and the county reports, as well as the health department evaluations of how we can operate. Of course, we've been social distancing. You know, in music, that's pretty hard, especially because of what we realize and what we've now seen globally is just humans. We are very social creatures, and music is no different. Music is, I think, the glue that brings us in socially. So it's been kind of hard to mandate that, but what we've been doing is having limited opening, where we've allowed the musicians to actually come in and do a lot of their live streaming concerts, because a lot of people's tours got canceled, a lot of festivals got canceled, of course, a lot of gigs got canceled, clubs were shut down, venues were shut down, and so it pushed the artists into a virtual space. And that's actually something that we've been doing as far as the workshops and seminars, really educating artists in that digital platform. We've actually been spending the past 2 years really pushing that, because of the technology and the availability and just the overall capacity of phones now, where you don't need an actual camera crew. You really can have a very nice Android or a very nice iPhone and get some really great footage of you and your band recording. So we've been pushing artists into that space. So what we did was kind of fall back and serve in that capacity to be a space for artists to kind of course, come and get information. We sent out weekly emails about musician grants, different artist grants, free food. We also did free food distributions for musicians. We partnered with the Memphis, the Mid-South Food Bank, to make sure our musicians, while they're not working, had access to healthy food during the time. And then also just really tried to help them with financial opportunities. It became down to personal coaching, as far as helping them get through a lot of grant applications, and really just jumping in and serving and becoming a mentor to musicians to kind of help guide them during this time.
And I also want to jump in there and say, you guys, all of our attractions are currently, major attractions are all pretty much open.
Yes.
Of course, you know, at current times, things can change by day. So if you're planning on visiting Memphis, or if you're writing about Memphis story, you can always direct them to memphistravel.com for the latest on everything that is open or closed. But for right now, everything in the city of Memphis is open in terms of our restaurants and attractions and those experiences that we're known for. And on that music note, you know, the attractions that, you know, that you can come here and experience immediately are going to be the Stack Museum of American Soul Music, which is right across the street from Memphis Slim House. So when you go to Stack, go over to visit Tanya at Memphis Slim House. Also, in addition to that, you have the Memphis Music Hall of Fame, and you have the Memphis Music Rock and Soul Museum, and then you have Sun Studios, and then you have the Blues Hall of Fame. So it can take you a day and a half or so or more just to experience the music attractions. But I definitely encourage you to share that with your readers and your audience. And the address is memphistravel.com. And also, in addition to that, it is Elvis Week on the music.
It is.
So Elvis Week, and there is a virtual Elvis experience taking place this week. So if you wanted to, you can find that by going to memphistravel.com as well, or going to graceland.com. And all the things about the virtual Elvis Week experience will be listed there. And I'm hoping that maybe I can you guys email later on share some of that information with you directly via email. But also, before we go on to our next speaker, I want to give a special shout out to Linda and Susan, who I had the opportunity to meet in Memphis. We had a great time, and you can consider them your second go-tos beyond me for all things Memphis. And so let's kick it over to our next speaker. It is Christina McCarter with City Tasting Tours. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next slide here. And she's gonna give you the, oh, actually, were there any more questions for Tanya before I go on to the food? Well, she isn't gone yet, but if you do have any more questions, just let me know. We definitely can get those answered for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and reintroduce Christina McCarter with City of Memphis Tasting Tours. I've had the opportunity to send many of my media guests on her tasting tours, and I've experienced them myself. And you know, if you're a visitor looking to, if you're worried about exactly what food places to go to, if you're trying to figure out how to fit in the most diverse food options you can at a time, Christina is the person to help you do that. So Christina, take it away and let's talk to them about the Memphis food scene.
Hey, again, my name is Christina McCarter, and I am with City Tasting Tours. So City Tasting Tours got started in 2016, May of 2016, which everybody knows we have Memphis in May. And at first we actually did do a lot of barbecue, even though barbecue is definitely the Memphis scene. So I will start by talking about the barbecue first, and then we'll get into soul food and everything else that we know as Memphis. As far as barbecue goes, I would always say to people that Memphis is always known for our dry rub barbecue, which is a unique seasoning. It's a dry rub that would go on anything from chicken to barbecue ribs. In Memphis, we're definitely known for our ribs, and places like Rendezvous, which have been around since the 1940s, thanks to the Virgos family. They were a Greek family, and they became famous thanks to their unique dry rub seasoning that they have. They would use a Greek seasoning in with the dry rub, and that basically put Memphis on the claim to fame for being the godfathers of like barbecue. There's different types of barbecue, and barbecue has been around since the 1600s. It started in Spain, and then by the time it came to America, people like George Washington loved picnics and loved eating barbecue. So barbecue in America has been around for a very, very long time. As far as that Memphis style barbecue though, it came around in the 1940s thanks to places like Rendezvous and Cozy Corner. Cozy Corner that you see on the screen here, this was another family owned restaurant. It is owned by the Robinson family. They've been in business for over 70 years. And a lot of people mostly would know Rendezvous, but Cozy Corner has been around just as long. They unfortunately had a fire, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. And the barbecue is so good there that Memphis decided to start a GoFundMe account for them to help them reopen. And they were able to open in like a year right after that. So we were like, we really need to keep Cozy Corner barbecue in our lives. And we still have it to this day. They are also known for things like their Cornish hens, because as we know, barbecue can be made in different ways. You can have hot wings, you can do hot dogs, you can do chicken, you can do so many things. But Cozy Corner is known for their ribs and their Cornish hens. You can't really talk about barbecue and then not talk about soul food at the same time. In Memphis, soul food and barbecue are one and the same. And of course, we have tons of well-known soul food restaurants. The Four-Way Grill, or the Four-Way Soul Food Restaurant, I forgot they changed their name. The Four-Way has been around for a very long time as well. It is a husband and wife team, and they have been one of the most famous food places, I would say. You can get your fried chicken, you can get your macaroni and cheese, you can get your collard greens, your fried green tomatoes, your fried okra, everything fried. That's just how we are. And then there's also places like the Little Tea Shop, which So the Little Tea Shop, this place is also husband and wife owned. They've been around for a long time. Well, actually, the husband, he just passed away, I believe, about 2 years ago, but the wife is still operating. They lived right upstairs of the Little Tea Shop as well, which is, back then, that was a very common thing to do where you work, where you live. But the Little Tea Shop is a little bit different with their soul food. They don't use pork, which, Memphis is the pork capital, but they actually do not use pork in any of their soul food. To add on to what Tanya was saying, though, the four-way is actually in Soulsville, and then the Little Tea Shop is in downtown Memphis. Plenty of people have eaten at Four-Way Grill. A lot of famous people have eaten there. All the kings, as they would say, Elvis, BB, Martin Luther King, all the kings have eaten at the Four-Way Grill, and tons of people from all over America go visit the Little Tea Shop for lunch. Now, as far as Southern, I always like to say there's a difference between Southern food and soul food. Southern food is obviously based on the demographic, and that's how soul food came about. But soul food, to me, is more about the soul being put into the food. So any cuisine and any culture can have soul food, but Southern food it's more so the things that we're known for, like the fried chicken, anything pork-based, anything fried. That's more so Southern foods. Collard greens, and it also has to do with what was brought to us and what we were able to harvest back in the day, as far as ingredients go. And I would also add that in Memphis, we also have our own culture of food. I don't think we have any pictures of the hot wings here, but we have over 50 barbecue places in Memphis. But we also have over 50 hot wing places in Memphis.
Over 100 barbecue.
Over 100 barbecue places in Memphis, and easily over 50 hot wing places as well. Memphis has a place called Ching's that everyone loves in Memphis for buffalo wings. And buffalo wings, think a fried chicken wing, but it is drizzled in, or basically smothered in a buffalo sauce. And Memphis, as our culture, we have two sauces that we really love. And of course, it's buffalo, but the other one is honey gold. So if you go to any barbecue place, not any barbecue place, any hot wing place, and you don't see honey gold on the menu, it's not a good sign. But we also do a thing with catfish and spaghetti. That's a Memphis only type of cuisine that we do. We eat spaghetti as a side dish here, and some people would argue that, but here in Memphis, spaghetti is a side, and we always like to eat it with things like catfish, fried catfish, and fried chicken. So with the sweet section, of course, we have tons of great desserts here in Memphis. Makita's Cookies has been around for 20 years. This is another family-owned and operated business. It is owned by the husband and wife. Their daughter works there, Tamika, and they have been around for 20 years with a 3-ingredient butter cookie. A lot of native Memphians know Makita's because the cookies were one of our snacks at school when it was Memphis City School. So a lot of us always have this nostalgic moment when we walk in there and you can just smell the butter once you open the door. And you eat this cookie and it takes you back to like a great childhood memory. And you can do this literally every day because the bakery is open every day. They have 2 locations, one downtown and one on Airways, which is close to the airport. So I always say, if you forgot to pick up some, you can pick up some right before you get to the airport. He is showing their newest thing, which is the apple pies that they're making and these peach cobbler pies that they're making. But that is their butter cookie crust right there. So with their pies, they do not use a graham cracker crust, they use their own butter cookie crust. And when I tell you that it's made with love, that is made with love, and it is handmade every day, freshly baked every single day. So you can't come to Memphis and not get your barbecue, your fried chicken, and some Makita's cookies. You have to do all three in that order. Yes. And some of these are places that I would take people to on our food tours as well. What were you saying, Milton?
So I'm gonna say also to jump in there, some of the four-way grill that you mentioned, the little tea shop, or rendezvous, those three are part of our oldest establishments in terms of food in the city. And they've been around. The four-way grill was basically where Dr. Martin Luther King and the civil rights activists would go and meet and eat during the civil rights movement. And you know, my mom isn't from Memphis. I was raised in Memphis with my parents, but my mom isn't from Memphis, and so she had never been to the four-way grill. She heard about it. I was like, Mom, how have you never been, and you raised me in this city, and how do I have to become a full adult and work for tourism to take you? So I'm sitting there and I'm giving my mom the history of four-way grill, and in comes Jesse Jackson. This was about the year before last, which proved my point of the history of why that's a go-to spot. And even with Rendezvous kicking off Memphis and the barbecue industry. And Sue at the little tea shop, if you go to the little tea shop, Sue there in the picture, she's at the register every day. The owner, she is as sweet as can be, one of my favorite. She meets hundreds of people a day. I never thought that she even realized who I was. So many times I've been in there, but you know, I just thought that I was just everyone else. And I saw her at Target one day, and she comes chasing after me to give me a hug. But she's so sweet, and definitely one of my favorite places in Memphis to go. There are some questions here, Christina, for you. It says, are all the Memphis restaurants open for dine-in? So you want to?
Yeah, so all of them aren't open for dine-in, but a lot of them are. A lot of people were ready to get back to work. You know, I talk to chefs almost at least once a week, and they just miss cooking. So for that reason alone, they were ready to go back. It was just a matter of if it was safe and if it was the right thing to do for them. Some places have so much space. And then some places are just so small. They might be a 12-seater. So for them, you know, it wasn't worth really opening yet. But some of the bigger places that can fit like 70 people, some of them have more space to spread people out. So they have been opening. And Memphis has like over 100 patios too. So there's a lot of that patio dining happening right now too.
Yep, there's no shortage of food. We're still gonna pack on calories for you. No shortage of food. Let's see. Someone mentioned the 99-cent Soul Food Express by the Civil Rights Museum. Yes, highly recommend it. Yeah,
the oxtails there are really, really good.
Here's a question for you. Is a vegetarian going to starve to death?
No. So places like the little tea shop, you can go. I mean, you can eat cabbage. You can still get you can get baked beans, because a lot of people don't have meat in their baked beans. You can get, you know, collard greens, cabbage, fried green tomatoes, macaroni and cheese, sweet potato yams. We have a lot of, you know, I think that might be one of those things that kind of gets confused when we do talk about Southern food, because I'm a carnivore, so I just go straight to the meat. But we eat vegetables. We just might fry them or something like that. So.
But there's also places like, one of my favorite places to take journalists, that if I have a journalist that one might be a vegetarian and one might really want barbecue, and that's I'll do not cozy corner, but I'll do by the Civil Rights Museum, Christina, everyone's favorite barbecue place. By Civil Rights Museum.
Yeah, Central Barbecue. Yeah.
Central, off my tip of my tongue. Yeah. So Central, I love their portobello salad or sandwich. Mm-hmm. You know, it is really, really good, and that's always a go-to. But they do have other options there for you. Let's see, Christina, social distance. How are you conducting your food tour?
So I'm not conducting the food tours at all. Sadly, I haven't done one since March of this year. What I did, I basically changed the tours from physically going on the tours to virtually going on the tours, where I would deliver all of the food to the residents in Memphis, and then I would send them an exclusive video link of me walking around downtown and telling them about the places instead. So you got to enjoy like a 3-course meal in the comfort of your own home while also watching a few video clips of me talking about the food and the historical landmarks around downtown.
And that brings us to another question. Someone asked, can they get it in San Francisco? But tell them what they can get in San Francisco.
Yeah, so for the longest, I haven't been able to figure out how to continue this relationship with people that would come on a tour and they would say, oh, I wish I could take some of this home with me. And for a while, I would just be like, okay, go pick up a bag of cookies from Makita's. But now I can tell them that they can get a city tasting box and I can ship that to them. A few things like this that you see here. There's the Beach Hill Lemonade by Kenya Bean. She's a 14-year-old girl who started a lemonade company and is doing very well. And then there's also the Makita's cookies that I was talking about, the New Wing Order hot sauce. And then you also would get some Rendezvous barbecue sauce, some Germantown commissary barbecue seasoning, and then Chef Tam's Fry Me Up Baby seasoning. So you get a little, everything is a sprinkle of Memphis right there. You can fry your own chicken, you can make your own barbecue sauce, and you can drink your own hot sauce on some hot wings at home and enjoy some cookies and lemonade to drink it all.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay?
I think we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, just a little. All right. All right, can everyone hear me? Okay, I think it just may be Christina that we can't hear.
Hey, Christina.
Let's see.
It started going really slow.
Christina, I think we can't hear you. But anyway, for those that can hear me, we're the tasting box that we have, that is what you're going to have an opportunity to win in just a moment. Yeah. And so in those boxes were just launched this week, the boxes anyway. So make sure that you'll be able to go to citytastingbox.com. Christine, is that correct? Yes, I think she's saying that's correct. I can hear it. But anyway, so I'm going to stop the screen here, stop screen sharing, and I'm going to go and introduce our singer, and then we're going to come back and ask you some questions so that you guys can win that prize. So, Miss Kia Johnson, are you here?
Of course I am. How's everybody doing? Can you hear me, Milton?
Yes, I can hear you. I can't see you though, but I can hear you.
Oh, you can't see me?
Oh, there she is.
Can you all see me?
Yes.
Yep, so we can.
Okay.
Yes.
I have no idea.
Okay, I can take it away?
Take it away.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I get so excited whenever I'm connected to something about Memphis. And this today we're representing Memphis in music, and I'm an original or independent artist that's working in Memphis. I've got original music out there, and we just wanted to give you a few songs that represent what I feel and my passion for Memphis. So thank you so much, Milton and the Memphis Tourism Department. I'm here with a good friend and my musical director, Mr. Deborah Williams. So what we like to see is claps. You all can do your reactions and put the little clapping hands. I'm going to do my first song that is actually on an EP from, it's called Back to Me, and it's called Imagine. So, ready? Good. Everybody here? Awesome. Wasn't in my plans, but the way your eyes sparkle when you talk got me curious. I'm serious. Could this be another situationship? I'm not sure. But what can I say? I'm open in the courtroom. A lover wants to love, and a giver wants to give. I see from my last situation, the life is real funny, and guys get real intense when you meet the man you want to spend the rest of your life. When I did in my head, movie don't repeat. Seeing you in person got me so weak. I'm a little quirky, and maybe I'm weird, but it's a superpower. You never have to be. See what I mean? Quirky and I'm weird. I'm truly sincere. Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. I'm not saying what I need. I need no alibis. That's Imagine. Never wrote. Oh, you're so sweet. So, I wanted to take a minute to just acknowledge how special Memphis is to me. My dad was in the military, so I grew up all over the world. I traveled all over the world, all over the country, and Memphis is where I've spent the most time. It's where I learned soul. It's where I learned grit and grind. It's what gave me that purpose in life, purpose in singing. You know, looking at Isaac Hayes, at Studios and World Studios, and they were
In the back.
Come on. Aretha Franklin started here. It was just amazing to me. So I took all of that soul and tried to put it into something fresh and new. And the next song we're going to do is a remake by Bobby Caldwell. How many people know about Bobby Caldwell? Anybody know about Bobby Caldwell? He's got a lot of soul. But myself and my band called The Experience wanted to remake this song. It was so special to us. It's called Open Your Eyes. And what's so special to me about this song is right now there's so much going on, and we can think about everything that we wish was right and what we want to happen. But if you just appreciate where you are right now and how special it is to be alive and to be connected and to value your family and your friends and everything that means the most to you, just open your eyes. You can really realize how special it is in this moment. So I present to you Open Your Eyes in the way that Kia Johnson and the Experience Band did it, featuring Ms. Deborah Williams today. So we're going to get into it. How can you be so lame? You're still regretting the love you left behind. Oh, darling, I've seen you go through the You're still expecting to find love, love that's right. Oh, darling, there is a light that shines special for you and me. You need to look at the other side. You're free. Gotta open your eyes. Let me show you the light. You will never find a love that's right. Gotta open your eyes. Let me show you the light. You will never find a love that's right. Gotta open your eyes. Let me show you the light. You will never find a love that's right. Gotta open your eyes. Boy, you think you're so wise. You will never find a love that's right. Darling, open your eyes. Come on, you can second me. Woo! Let me show you a love that's right. You will never find a love that's right. If you're looking at things behind you, darling, open your eyes. Darling, open your eyes. There are times when you need someone. I will be by your side.
All right, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kia Johnson, and everybody. Thank you, Kia, for coming through and giving them a little bit of taste of Memphis soul today. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone. And I know we got just a minute or so left, and I'm gonna switch it right over here. I'm going to reshare my screen here, and so that you guys can capture information here. So if you are looking to, can you guys see the screen there?
No.
Let's see here. Let's do this one. All right. So I'm gonna go to the next slide there. If you're looking to contact or share anything that you've seen today, the hashtags to use are at Memphis Travel. That's our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram. If you're looking for the hashtag, it's at Memphis. It's at Must Be Memphis. Also, MemphisTravel.com is where you can find all things important about what to do in Memphis in terms of attractions, restaurants, what's open, what's closed. My email there is at the bottom in case you have any particular questions that you want to ask. Also, and if there's any pending stories that I'm hoping you were inspired to write by the webinar today, we do have access to photos. So if you want to interview Tanya or Christina, or talk about Christina's new tasting boxes that I'm pretty sure your readers will love to hear about, but I can definitely connect you with her on that. And I'm going to go right into the prize right now. You guys are ready? All right. So use the comment section. So we're gonna go based on the first person to answer the question correctly in the box, in the comment section, all right? So first question up here. I stayed up all night thinking of hard questions. I'm kidding, but. Okay, so question number 1. You must answer this completely and put it in the comment section. Question number 1, who are the 3 kings of Memphis? Type it in the comment section.
Elvis, BB King.
Who are the 3 kings of Memphis?
Please mute your, Robin, please mute your,
Oh, we got, what, wait, let's see. We got a winner here. I think it's Jenny. She said BB King, Elvis, and Martin Luther King. With that, we got it. All right, so I'm making note here. That's Jenny Pace. All right, so that's one prize gone. Okay, there's another opportunity. Okay, next question. Let's see here. This one's gonna be a little harder. What hotel chain was founded in Memphis? Just one hotel chain. No, not the Peabody. You're getting hot with the Hilton. It starts, well, I'm just gonna say you're getting hot, but not that. She's naming all H's. No, not the Hyatt. You get it, not Marriott. Come on. I'm gonna get, oh, Holiday Inn, she got it. It was Stacy Witten. You got it. All right. There goes our 2 prizes. You guys are the winners, but all of you are also going to be winners because you all will get some sort of a prize from Memphis Tourism in general, but the tasting boxes are going to Stacy and Jenny. So thank you all for participating in the webinar today. I hope you learned something about Memphis. It's hard to give you a taste of Memphis completely in a webinar like this, but I hope you learned something. And I'm going to share with you in closing a little video on Memphis. One moment.
And after the video, I will come back on and give some updates. And I think we have one question about, because of the sound going off, could we get a little more about what was in the box? The box?
Yes, we sure can. We sure can. I'm gonna play this video, then we're coming right back to it.
Welcome.
All right. So I hope they give you another 10 reasons to talk or write about or share Memphis with your readers. But back to the tasting box. Christina, you want to talk about that?
You don't have sound.
So I can basically show you what's in the box. You can see it on the screen there.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
No problems. But you have Makita's cookies, which is amazing. She talked about that today. And you have the lemonade here, which is from, I believe, Christina. So that one's a new one on the scene here in Memphis. It's about a young teenager that's created that line of product. And then you also have the new wing order, which is from the Wing Guru, which is a really popular wing spot in Memphis. So you have the sauce from that. And then you have some barbecue seasoning from the commissary. And then you also have some Rendezvous barbecue sauce. And then you also have some seasoning from, oh, and she's literally, I'm looking at the restaurant right outside my window and I can't think of her name, but it's Chef Tam's. Chef Tam. So those are those, and then there's one other item here. Christina, what is the last item, the box? What is that? You can, if you can type it in the comment section, that would be great.
Milton, none of us, you forgot to share your screen, so none of us got to see the video.
Oh, you didn't, you didn't see the video? I'm sorry.
And since it's only a minute, we can take time to see it again.
I'm sorry, I thought it was shared. I'm sorry. I'll redo that again. Can you see it now? Can you see it? Are you able to see the screen now?
We see the screen.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'll replay it. Sorry. Can you hear it though?
Yeah.
right. Did you guys were you able to see that?
Yes.
Wonderful. But basically, it talked about the 10 things you can experience in Memphis: barbecue, music, food, music attractions, Bill Street. All right. Any more questions?
I don't think we have any more, but if you can send me a list of the ingredients that are in that box, everybody's asking me to send it to them. So I will, why don't you send it to me and then let me know?
Yes. What I can send you an email with direct links to everything that's in the box and on the website where they can share, where you can pre-order. I can send that information to you as well as any links to any photos or digital assets that you might want.
All right, and then someone has just asked the cost of the box, and I saw that the cost of the box was $74.99, I think, was Christina posted that.
Yes, that is correct. So one is 74, and then there's a Memphis travel box that's more of a Memphis theme, and then there's more of a local box as well. They're both focused on local restaurants, but one box has more of a Memphis theme to it that Memphis Travel actually supported, and so that one has a different price. But the Memphis Travel box, that one is $74.99, and I believe the other one is just slightly below that price.
I've been asked if you ship the boxes internationally. We have a couple Canadian members joining us today.
So she's planning to. I've done a big. I asked her that literally yesterday. She will soon. She just got to. She told me yesterday she's got to figure out the logistics of it. But she's planning to, because Memphis, Canada is a big market for us. Number one for us is Canada. Number two is Europe, and number three is Australia. So we definitely want Canada to get some of those boxes.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna end up by giving us a preview. We want to thank Milton and all his guests, Tanya, Christina, and am I pronouncing it right, Kia? And for joining us today. This was a great webinar. I think it's different because of the music, and I enjoyed it. Our upcoming webinars on the 26th of August, we have Stacy Hunt giving us a tour of, it's not really a tour, but a tasting of wines from Val de Guadalupe. Hopefully I'll have a list of wines for you that you can go out and purchase in the next week or two. After that, on the 9th, we've had a little change. It's going to be Costa Mesa. I don't know the theme yet. And then the 23rd of September, the other was the 9th of September. The 23rd of September will be Michigan wines. So, and that should be interesting too. So that with that, I think unless anybody has any last questions, we're gonna finish. I hope everybody enjoyed it.